I'm sure.
Everybody.
All right, let's get started on this tonight. So it looks like we're finally live. Hope everything's going. If you haven't known me, who I am, my name's Corey. Welcome to Corey's Cooking Channel, just cooking with Corey, whatever you want to call it. But it's live with Basbury. That's our actual channel. It's called Basbury. And with Basbury, we do streaming. We have streaming. We have cooking classes. We do travel blog, and we also just really enjoy time with our family. So once again, or just we'll welcome in. I said this a while ago, but I was in the mood of playing around. So if you haven't seen is what I have here is a new setup we actually have. I got a live setup right here as I'm working on here, and I'm here in a second camera here. I'm going to try to actually keep them both together. I think you can see them both on the same screen. Let me know you like this new format. If you truly want me to zoom in on one, I can zoom in there, or I can zoom in on this one, whatever you may like. But I can get them bigger in either way, right? We can go from there. All right, so let's get to it. So what we have here is I'm cooking. I'm in the process of cooking adobo tonight, or an adobo-inspired dish. I've never cooked this. However, I have a couple friends coming over tomorrow, and I want to make sure I'm actually cooking them a nice meal. And the challenge is that my friends, um, the challenge is my friends make really good. They make some really good food here. So why is that? I'm not sure this thing started. It doesn't look like it has. It doesn't look like my view started. That's weird. I guess maybe it has, maybe it hasn't. So I don't know for sure. So my friends make some really good food, and I'm always, I have lots of good hotel friends and lots of friends that worked in kitchens over the years, and so a lot of my chef friends just can make some really great food, and so we get together and have some really good fun. Why is it not showing us this plan? Okay, looks like my chat's finally working. Looks like my chat's finally going on here. Looks like that's happening. Sorry guys, I'm trying to get this YouTube studio to work for me. And it's okay, looks like everything's running. All right, looks like it's running. Looks like we're live. It is going. All right, so what I've gone ahead and done here, I've gone ahead and soaked these in some water and some baking soda, and then we get all the nasties off that you have at the store. It's like a little slimy coating. It's like a little protective wax that they put on. However, when you're at the store, how many people have touched this same lime and moved this lime and this jalapeno and this cayenne? Well, this cayenne came from my garden, so it's just all about, the amount of stuff that's going, like I always talk about, the amount of stuff that's going into your food. And so, yeah, so I'm gonna go wash these off. I'll be right back. I'll talk while I'm going. So as I wash these everything off here, I'm gonna put them on a towel to dry and then bring them back over in a second. And I'm gonna rinse off all the baking soda and all the dirty water. Okay. However, then I'm gonna put in my oregano and my cilantro, and I'm gonna rinse those as well. Even though oregano came from my garden, I want to rinse that as well. So the sheer reason that I never know what's up there on there. Little pesties crawling around doing their thing. That's just what pests do. Little bugs. Rinse those off real quick. Perfect. Perfect. I say perfect like Street Fighter. All right, so I rinsed off my oregano. Have some cilantro as well. I got all that rinsed off as well. It's ready to go. And then my jalapenos. But one thing we're going to do tonight, we're going to try also something else different. It's weird that nobody popped up. My sister usually pops in, so I'm just making sure my video works. All right, so what I was saying is we're going to try something else different tonight. Over here, I have some boiling water. Got some boiling water, and like I said, this isn't my normal cooking channel. of having everything pre-planned out like I normally would. So this isn't me trying to have everything pre-planned out. This is me just really experimenting with flavors tonight to make something absolutely delicious. Try something new and try to impress my friends. But that's what I do. I play around. And if it's no good, I'll order pizza tomorrow night. All right, so we also started with one of these tonight as well. All right, let me get that centered in. All right, so what you want to do here, I'm gonna lock this down. Things don't want to light always. Tell you what, I got to here for that. All right, so what that's doing over here is I am getting out my skillets, my saute pan, and then what I'm going to do here. So just so you know, I have this over here, but I'm going to move this aside so you see what I'm doing with my cutting board. So move this over here. Like there's experimental, trying new things tonight. So patience be with me. Okay, so that pan is heating up over here. But in the meantime, what I'm going to do is take out some of these chilies. Look at those yellow chilies, looking delicious. All right. So what these chilies are called, guajillo peppers. So what you do here, you cut them open. Here, put all the seeds. All right. You're just going to toss them into the pan. And then many abuelas out there that see I'm doing it wrong, don't laugh at me. Like I said, this isn't my normal forte. I'm just cooking these, but hey, I'm going to try it. So it's fun. How's everybody doing tonight? Everybody good? All right, so we got a couple peppers in there. And so what you're going to do, you're going to toss these peppers into the saute pan. And what they're going to do, they're just going to soften up a little bit. And then what we're going to do after that, we're going to hit it with some boiling water. And we're going to let them soak about 15 minutes. I'll get everything else cut up, let them soak a little bit. All right. Here we have some uncooked chicken. The pepper this set. Same thing, cut off the tip. Like this. So what I have here, see? Just see, I'll toast them up a little bit. Remember, you always want to try to toast your spices up, And yes, the pepper is a spice, of course. And you want to toast them up and get the flavors out and get their natural flavors just woken up a little bit. So the more you toast them up, just gonna get the natural flavors up. All right, we're gonna toast those up a little bit more. I'll be able to remove some in a second as well. And then what I did is, this isn't those are the recipes I've been looking. This is the chili arbol. A couple of those in there tonight. And these I'm not going to seed. I'm gonna leave the seed, which is probably silly to me because those are going to be spicy. But I like spice. Yeah. So we have that cooling over there. And what I like to have on my station, I always like to have a bowl just to put in my trash. And that way you don't see me constantly going back and forth to the waste can, right? Have everything handled by, just this down here and make it a little easier on myself. And move that over. Okay? So get these actually going, moving around. All right, they're almost done actually. All right, oh, you can smell the flavors. Okay, and we have some and everything. We'll put toss those in there as well. So interesting thing about this one tonight. Interesting thing about this recipe. You're gonna get to see how I come to think about different things. Oh, I steamed up my camera. I used to have the camera up there, guys. Like I said. But you're gonna get to see me playing around with some recipes tonight. Just learning and figuring some things out on my own. All right, so that one's gonna have to defog a little bit if we're going on there, okay? All right, so that while those are over there soaking, I'm gonna put those on my back stove here and let them just soak and just kind of do their thing. And now I'll move my burner over a little bit. There we go. Put the burner out of the way. And then got my cast iron skillet over here, my cast iron pan. Cast iron pan doing the same. Okay, so for what we're gonna be doing next, one of those days. So I think you remember one of my last videos is some of the funny things that get to me, some of the funny small things. All right, so let's do this. I'm just gonna take in. I know what I want to do. Here we go. Put my blender here to the side. Where my onion go? Okay. Sorry, heating my pan up. Oh yeah, but I forgot to turn on. It's a big onion, huh? That thing's huge. Oh, and then what this is gonna be, so for my dinner tomorrow, I'm gonna be making some I'm gonna turn this into carnitas with a little adobo sauce. So make some carnitas, and then I'm gonna make some elote, and then make some salsa verde. I'm gonna make some salsa roja. And let's just really get some things going on. And usually you see me really cut up things really equal in parts. Um, because the more uniform you cut up an onion, or more uniform you cut up a vegetable, the better it'll actually cook. The more even. Okay? The more even the vegetable will actually cook. That goes with everything, not just vegetables. If you can cut it up more even, do that. The cool thing about this recipe is very simple to make, but it's, that's what everything says. It says it's simple, right? The flavor profile is so intense. So I'm thinking we're going to try something a little bit in between. I'm thinking I'm going to try, let's see, if I go through and try this dish with what you call, what's the dish I'm thinking about? One we're making right now, that's what I'm thinking about. That salad right here. Okay. I don't want to do it because these onions and split them off a little bit. Let's see what I've got going on over here. So I have them back here actually on my table. I'm actually back there on my tablet, okay? And if you haven't if you never heard me say this, make sure you always have to sharpen knife in the kitchen. All right, so I learned this really cool trick years ago about cutting up a Roma tomato, and I think it's really fun. You take your tomato and just kind of roll it like this, roll it out like that, cut off the ends, and you core your tomato. Just take it, put a little incision in it, and just roll it out. Almost like a flaming tomato, right? The funny thing is when I was taught this trick, it's when I was a line cook. And I had this young lady by her name was Cindy. And Cindy sat there and was telling me, she said, you need to do it this way. It's a really cool trick I'm learning. I'm going to teach you. And I was young, dumb, and full of snot. Young, dumb, and just dumb. And I just fresh out of the military said, you know what? I don't need to listen to you. Why would I want to listen to you? You know, what do you have to teach me? I was just young. And so she walked away and said, okay, fine, whatever. However, I watched her do it, and then I learned, and that was the way I've done these ever since. And so, Cindy, if you're out there, really use your trick. Thank you very much for showing me. I've grown up now, and I'm not as dumb as I was. Keyword, I'm not as dumb, not near as dumb as I was, Cindy. So thank you so much for being patient with me over those years, and I yelled at you quite a bit. Uh, hey, if you're watching the channel, if you never watched before, if you can subscribe, that'd be greatly appreciated. If you subscribe, just go through. Usually I do a cooking channel and hit through here. Usually I just have a recipe on every Thursday, but every other Thursday. And this time I was just trying something new. Okay, now we're gonna put some food in this bad boy. All right, so key note about serranos. These little puppies are spicy. I got choked up thinking about it. These little puppies are spicy. So this will definitely bring some heat to the dish right here. And if you didn't know about peppers, what makes peppers spicy, it's not these little pesky seeds. Those pesky seeds are hot. Don't get me wrong. But see this little piece right here? This little pith. I think it's called a pith. That's where, oh, it's called a rib. That's where the spice really comes in. And then always remember as well, don't forget to wash your hands after this really well. Don't go rubbing your eyes. Don't, because this pepper will toast you up a little bit. These little serranos are just, they're fun like that. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, my onions are cooking down a little bit. So I'm letting my onions cook down a bit and getting those going. So now I'm going to take this, get it out of here, put that over here. Okay. So what I'm going to do now, got a couple bay leaves. I like this. I get these from Walmart, but organic bay leaves. And yeah, I like coming to Walmart because if you buy the same stuff and actually save a little bit of time on that, save a little bit of a penny, especially today's day and age, right? A little nickel here, nickel there goes a long way. And if I'm not looking at the camera a lot, my apologies. All right, so I'm going to switch up the camera a little bit. Switch this up. Okay. Now we're going to cut up and we're going to just do half a cayenne. I don't want to kill it. Okay, we'll have a cayenne in there as well. Nice slice with a couple of limes. We're going to get later for some acid. With the limes, I'm not going to do a jalapeno. I was going to do a jalapeno, but with the serrano and everything else, I'm not going to do that. All right, so now we're going to move this over and I'm going to go back to my burner real quick, okay? Put this right back over here. Hey, if you guys can't hear me, thank you. Someone just texted me and said, hey, they're having trouble hearing me. If you're having trouble hearing me, let me know. I'll start talking a little bit louder. Just let me know, okay? Mm. All right, so we're gonna move this back over here. One of my favorite pans in the kitchen is this little cast iron pan. So hey, if you're having trouble hearing me, please pop it in the chat and let me know. You know, I think Lisa, I think you're the only one here right now, but if you're having trouble hearing me, please tell me, okay? That's weird. Let me stop my, let me check something out here. It might be something about my headphones, okay? I don't know if that goes on my screen or not. How about now? Can you hear me now? Is that better? Try a different, try a different method here. How's that, is that better to hear me? Okay, what I'm doing here now, I turn down the look. So I'm not trying to get too much color on the onions. I'm just trying to get them a little darker, right? I mean, there's a little more chances. Is that better? Can you hear me better? Please put it in the chat. Tell me, and I'll try to jump on the best I can. I'll get much better. Because the AirPods act funny, so I'm gonna speak up a little louder. But if you can let me know tonight, I'm put myself on that side. All right. So now what we're going to do spice. Okay. So why would you add spice here? Because the spices have to bloom as well. So you want your spices to wake up. A little bit of red crack, but now we're going to take in a little bit of cumin. Not too much because cumin can overpower. And I don't know if it's a lot of everybody else, but that was to me, you know, like I just that's got a weird way to put it, but cumin sometimes just stinks. All right, open it a little bit. It's a sweet paprika. We're gonna let this go as well. Actually, I think that was a 200 paprika will burn percent. Can you hear me again? Oh, I'll get this all figured out one day. It's brand new tonight, just a new camera and everything else. All right, it says it's connected. Can you hear me better now? It says it's connected. I see the microphone going through. I think you should be able to hear me much better now. All right, so as you can see, now as you can see, it's I didn't want it to burn, so I had to turn it down a little bit, right? People often ask me, they say, hey, how many recipes do you follow, or how many do you follow? I said, I follow recipes, and I'm inspired a lot about recipes, but I'm always playing around with things for myself and just seeing something different. And then sometimes it comes out really well, and then other times it comes out struggle status. And yeah, I even have struggle status as well. So when you're out there cooking and they're trying to run home and cook for your family or whatever else it is, and you make a mistake and something doesn't come out the way planned, just move on. Don't beat yourself up over it. There'll be another meal later. Don't beat yourself up over this. It's just a meal, you know. It's nourishment for your food. I guess I shouldn't say it's just a meal, but it's nourishment for your body, right? And you want to take care of yourself as much as possible. Okay, so there we have right there. And then I'm gonna add a touch of cinnamon in here, okay? Not much, just a touch, okay? Got just a touch of cinnamon in there as well. Wow, that smells amazing. Okay, so now you have a couple herbs out there that are like party herbs. And this is what you call a hardy herb. It's oregano. It's a hardy herb. There's oregano and like a bay leaf. You put it in there, and by the time you pull it out, it'll still look like oregano and a bay leaf. Unlike, say, cilantro. When you put cilantro in, cilantro comes out. I am not a chicken. So I'm gonna have to do the old fashioned one. I'm gonna use something called better than bouillon. So I know when I was a kid, we had these little bouillon, right? I had little bouillon cubes. However, I've come across this stuff called better than bouillon. That's pretty good. It's really good, actually. I'm not sponsored by anything, but it happens to be in my cabinet, in my pantry. And you're going to ask yourself in a second, you go, hey, wasn't I supposed to have some peppers over here? Yep, the peppers are almost done soaking over the back. In the back, well, that worked out great. Sorry about the camera. Sorry about that, guys. This is not NBC Studios. So what I was saying about these certain herbs that we have in here, we have certain herbs in here. They're called hardy herbs, right? So they're the ones that are kind of going to stay pretty much in their shape. They're going to let out their flavor, but you're going to pull them out towards the end of the dish, right? You're going to pull out this. You're going to pull out your bay leaf. You're going to pull out your oregano. Um, plus your oregano. Get those all out of the way. So, because they'll be chewy when you actually put them in your mouth, it'll be all chewy. We don't want that. All right, so what I'm doing over here, you can't see it on this side, but I'm moving on to back to my board. I'm going to start slicing up get rid of that rest of that. You go back to my board because I'm going to start slicing up the peppers again. So the peppers have been soaking. Peppers have been soaking. It's boiling water. All right, so I'm just going to pull them all out of the hot water. I know it's all. My wife just walked in. She's like, "Hey, she's trying to clean the lens for you all because it's all steamy from all the cooking." She's laughing at me. Hope you're not laughing at me, too, guys. Hey, Calvin. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to move this over. I'm going to move this pan out of the way so you can see what it's like, and I'll bring it back in a few moments, okay? So you can stop seeing the steam. Move this back out of the way. And we want to end up maybe getting a third camera in here so it can be over everything. So that'd be fantastic, but can't guarantee it. Well, I think I made that worse. Looks like the steam actually went inside the camera, so hopefully I didn't ruin it. Go off and look. Okay. I'm trying here, guys. I gotta laugh. It's funny. No, no. My wife's trying to figure out a way to change the camera for you, but all I'm doing right now, I'm just chopping up all those chilies that we put in there to hydrate a while ago. Man, I'm sad about the camera. All right, so what I did, I chopped up all the chilies. Move those into the dishing bowl, okay? Okay. Man,
I'm gonna give it.
my wife's laughing at me. She's like, yeah, it's just not working. She's laughing with me. How about that? But hey, if you're not trying, what are you living for? You know, just go out there and try. Give it your best. Have fun with it. And just keep trying. That's all we can ever ask from all of us. So I'm gonna pull out my recipe here. See what I'm actually looking at. Okay, so recipe. Yeah, we got it. Oh, I didn't put any garlic in there. And I didn't have any tomato paste to put in there. And put a couple pieces of garlic in. Usually I'm a garlic freak, right? However, with this dish, it's not a very garlic forward dish. And I'm going to show you a little trick that I didn't do this time. And as you can see, my cutting board's moving all the way around. And I usually have it, I didn't have it under there today because all the switching around. So if you take your cutting board, you put a little wet, damp towel under it, your cutting board won't slide anymore. And that'll protect your fingers from getting sliced off. Because trust me, that hurts. I can tell you from experience, that hurts. Having a finger chopped off, not chopped off the entire finger, but you know. Okay. All right, so now what I'm doing, I'm stirring it all the way around. I'm not gonna put it back under the camera right now, just for the sheer reason that I don't want to ruin my camera right now, and I'm gonna have to figure that task out as I come to it. Okay. Okay, perfect. So, oh, there's my chow. All right, let me put on my glasses. I see my chat finally popped up on my tab here. Oh, thanks, Emily. I'm happy you like the set. Emily, I'm playing around with the recipe tonight. It's an adobo-inspired dish. I'm kind of going, so you ever think about adobo? And adobo in Spanish means to marinate. So what this is essentially going to be a marinade. So if you ever go to the store and you find, inside the store, you find chipotles, chipotles, you'll find chipotles and adobo sauce. And what the adobo sauce is basically marinating the jalapeno, the smoked jalapeno, which is a chipotle. And in case you didn't know that, a chipotle is a smoked jalapeno. So you take the chipotle and you marinate, and that adobo sauce just marinates in there until you're ready for it. And oftentimes when I'm cooking, instead of using a full chipotle, I'll actually go through and just take a little spoon. I'll take a spoon of the adobo sauce, and that'll be my flavor. In fact, it's very rare that I actually use the full chipotles in the system. And yes, the smell is intense and it's delicious. We're gonna do next. We're gonna put it inside this blender. And I've said it once, and I'll say it until the cows come home. If you don't invest in anything in your kitchen other than a nice knife, invest in a good blender. A good blender can make all the difference. Right. So what I'm doing now, before I bring it over, so it's gonna show you where it's at. So it's reduced quite a bit. See, there we go. I just don't want to get all of the camera again. So it's reducing quite a bit, right? I'm actually going to add a little bit more water because I want to cook down a little bit more. And I thought I had chicken stock in my fridge today. However, it's soy because I don't drink milk very often. So I drink soy milk. And the soy milk box looks exactly like the chicken stock box. If you're not paying attention, you'll get a big mouth of chicken stock or a big glass of soy milk when you're trying to cook it. So that's almost happened before as well. All right, so what are the questions we have here? Yep. All right, so thanks. I hope you like this new setup. I was gifted a beautiful camera this week, and I had to put it into order, and I had to put it in. And my wife's here. My wife's here. She's poked in. I didn't know if you saw her. She's reading all the little comments, didn't realize she's on camera. She's like, "Oh, shoot, I'm on camera." Oh boy. Funny, right? All right, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna blend this in a second, but I'm gonna blend it off camera. I'm gonna mute the microphone the best I can. I'm gonna blend it off camera, um, and I'll come right back. So, as you all know, this isn't my normal way of cooking, but I just want to try something different again. Just so let me know what you think. Just me in the kitchen playing around. Just me in the kitchen playing around, doing a thing. I go here just to kind of show you some fun little tips and tricks. And so many people are like, "Oh my gosh, you cook. You're a cook, and I don't want you. I don't want to eat with you, and because I don't want to cook for you because you cook so well. And how am I going to ever compare to your cook? How's that? Some people well, many people actually overthink it. I wish you could smell it. That cumin, that cinnamon coming together creates a whole different nuance. But I'll tell you what, almost every single chef I know, except for some crazy snobs, every single chef I know is happy when they're invited somewhere and they don't have to cook. They enjoy having people cook for them as much. And then you'll notice that every chef will actually go to where they're at and they'll try to lend a hand somewhere in the kitchen because they love to just share that experience with everyone. All right, so here's a trick. So if you have hot liquids like that, right? When you have a blender, all right, number one, you want a variable speed blender, of course. But when you take your blender, you're going to put a towel over it when you blend it because sometimes a hot liquid wants to shoot up and it can pop out. So this keeps you from getting burned and getting scalded, okay? I'll be right back. I'll blend this up. So see if I can mute this real quick. Got it blending over there, but I don't want it to be really loud. How about now? I muted it. Oh my gosh. I muted so you guys wouldn't get blasted by the blender. My apologies. So what I was trying to say is, can you hear me? All right. So hopefully you can hear me now. But what I was saying is that I often make paella. And then in paella, there's this thing called salmuera. And I might be not pronouncing it wrong, but it's called salmuera. And it's actually very similar to the flavor profile of this. The same color, the same flavor profile, the peppers, tomatoes, a little bit of garlic. In fact, it's almost the same. I'm gonna look up the recipe again and just double check. All right. And so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take my pork shoulder. I got a pork shoulder for the carnitas tomorrow. 'Cause I like having that bone in the pork shoulder. Some people use the pork butt, but I'm gonna use the pork shoulder. Oh, okay, cool. Thanks. Sorry about that. I muted it. Right. So I'm gonna use a pork shoulder for this, and it's gonna be delicious. And then I'm gonna take the carnitas, I'm gonna marinate it, and I'm gonna slowly cook it tomorrow with this. But I'm also gonna add in some beer. I'm gonna add some beer to this tomorrow, and then once I add the beer in, and then it's gonna braise it until it falls off that big bone that's in there. All right, look at that ingredients. So until it falls off the bone, I'm gonna braise it. But I don't want it so tender it turns into mush though. But I am gonna braise it up and just make it deliciousness. So what I was saying earlier about my friends coming over, they make a lot of great Latin food, Central American food, and it is delicious. And I'm going to try to compete with it. And hopefully I can, and I hope I get their respect on saying, you competed and you do well. Because if you don't know me, I'm very competitive. Well, just kind of. Yeah. All right, so let's taste this. Let's see where we're at with taste. Get you a stack of spoons. If you don't want to taste it once, you're going to taste it. And since I have guests coming over, definitely make sure I don't use the same spoon twice. Okay, that's sweet. Okay. A little bit of bitterness. It's a little bit of bitterness. It hits on the back of the throat. I don't want to add any pepper, but it does need some salt. So I'm going to hit some salt in here. Okay. Over a little bit over the shoulder for old Mother Nature. A little bit over the shoulder. But is this sweet? The sweet from the peppers. It almost tastes like I had a burnt carrot in here. I don't know if I'm trying to think about that flavor. Oh, that's better. Actually, a little bit more salt. Now, this salt, I'm careful with this salt right here because this salt, it's a flaky sea salt, but it has large flakes, right? So what you have to watch out for when you use a large flake salt is it doesn't dissolve as fast as finely fine salt. So you're like, oh, I just put a little bit of salt in, but before you know it, you put a lot of salt in because it flakes. Now what we have here is a little bit of vinegar. Actually, I'm gonna get my apple cider vinegar out. Give me a second. Yeah. What I often like to do with my apple cider, but just a little bit. Now, what was funny, when I was in school, one of my uh, instructors said, "Hey," he said, "No, it's not a tomato sauce, Lisa. It's not a tomato sauce. It's not a tomato." And I talked to her. That's my sister, guys. But it's not a tomato sauce. This is mostly peppers. If you think about it, this is mostly onions and peppers, and there was only 3 small tomatoes in here. So this is all this red. This is from the peppers. This isn't from tomatoes whatsoever. Oh wow, that brightened it up. That woke up the flavors. So a little bit of lime. Okay, a little bit of lime. That out. I think that's it. Let me let it set for a second. Let me let it sit on my palate. 1 second. But no, it's oh, makes sense. You're right. It says barbecue sauce, not a barbecue sauce either, because like I said, it's very peppery based. But what I was saying a second ago is the very first time my instructor at culinary school said, "Hey," he said, "add vinegar to your dish." I was like, "Vinegar?" I said, "Why am I going to add vinegar to that dish?" He said, "Add vinegar to it." He said, "Dad, trust me, you're going to like it." I said, "But vinegar doesn't match." He said, "Trust me." I said, "Okay." So I trust him because, he's my teacher. And wow, I was so dumbfounded. I was like, "Wait, you did what?" We added a splash of vinegar in here and it really changed the entire profile of the dish. All right, let me let my wife try it. She's gonna try it out for me now. There you go. Try this out. Good, good flavor, right? All right, so I got the A-OK from her. That makes a lot. Yeah, it's very similar to Samwera. Yeah, except in the Samwera, I use something called a nona, it's either a nona or nonia pepper, but it's a interesting pepper as well. Um, but yeah, and so tomorrow I've got a couple more things to make. I'm gonna make some elote. I'm gonna make some salsa roja. I'm gonna make some salsa verde, and then I'm gonna take this and braise this. And I would just like to show you. I'd like to show you all what it comes through. So check it out. Oh, actually, it's Nonia. It's this actually Nora's. So Nora's pepper, and these are really good. These are delicious. The flavor, and I kept this because I'm gonna get the seeds in here. I'm gonna try to grow some. It says my wife has a green thumb. She could throw a broom on the ground, it would start growing. Um, but she's gonna give it a shot for me. But hey, tomorrow I'm gonna have all this cooked for tomorrow night, and I'd love to have you guys pop back over and just let me know what you think. Any questions before I bounce? Yeah, the elote is really good. So I'm actually truly doing. I'm gonna do the true elote tomorrow. I'm gonna pull the airs down. I'm gonna put on a hot coal fire. I'm gonna boil these just a little bit and then let them plump up and I'll boil them some salty water. Let them plump up a little bit. Then I'm gonna hit them with a hot coal fire. Like, can we get the fire really hot? I'm gonna hit the hot coal fire just to get a light char on there, very light char, just for flavor. And then from there, I'm gonna put the mayonnaise. I'm gonna put some fresh mayonnaise on there, and then I'm gonna hit it with some Parmesan cheese, a little bit of tahini, and some chamoy, and then I'm gonna hit it with some fresh butter as well. And then I'm gonna find some Crestor after that because I'm gonna need that. Then we're gonna make some fresh radishes tomorrow, slice some radishes. Um, yeah, that's it. But thanks for joining me tonight. I hope you had fun watching me make a turkey out of myself. But I have fun doing it. Yep, there'll be. I don't know if there'll be leftovers on Sunday or not. But if there are, make sure that you guys try some. Maybe I'll put a little plate for you to decide. But hey, thanks for being here tonight. I truly appreciate it and just enjoying some time with me. So thank you again. Y'all have a great night, okay?